us now, Leon Wolf, managing editor of The Blaze, and Marie Harf, former State Department spokeswoman and Fox News contributor. Let me start with you, Leon. Do you think that the Democrats want a deal? I mean, it seemed to me that they actually need to deliver one for their constituents.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they do want necessarily a deal as long as it basically gives them everything that they're looking for. But look, I mean, to me, this is a very analogous situation to 2015 when the Republicans kind of pushed the government close to a shutdown over a policy rider, which at the time was defunding Planned Parenthood. And look, I remember that the vast majority of the media covered that as this is the Republicans' fault. It's evidence that they're not serious about governing. They can't be trusted with the levers of power. So if we lived in a just world, I think the Democrats would be paying a serious political price for what they're doing right now. But we don't live in a just world. We live in a world in which most of the media is going to more or less carry their water on this. And so I think they'll continue to push this to the brink. And if I had to predict, I would say Republicans will likely blink at the end of the day, because that's what we saw them do throughout the Obama administration.
Although there are new Republicans and a new sheriff in town, Marie, how do you see it?
Well, I think it's becoming increasingly clear that we may not have a deal in the Republican-led Congress. Don't forget, Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the presidency by Friday to prevent a government shutdown because of the DACA issue. And look, Democrats have come to the table. They have said they're willing to compromise. They are not insisting on a Clean Dream Act. They have said we are willing to approve money for border security and screening and technology. And Republicans haven't been able to get their own caucus in order. There are big disagreements inside the House, and Paul Ryan is trying to bring these conservatives and the Freedom Caucus and the more moderates together. They're not on the same page as the Senate. So I think what needs to happen here is both sides to, in good faith, find middle ground, because there are 800,000 Dreamers who are counting on it. This may get pushed a couple more weeks, though, because I'm not sure that'll happen in the next 5 days.
But, Leon, will conservatives be able to basically escape unscathed? You know, the president said he would take the heat for it, but they will certainly face heat, too, if it looks like they're backing down on some of the more conservative positions of the bill.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a risk, and they definitely have to look at that depending upon what district they're in. But I think that you've hit on the key point, Dana, which is that as long as the president at the end of the day comes out and says everything's okay and I'm fine with it and signs the bill and doesn't veto it, I think that most of the conservative Republicans are going to be able to walk away unscathed almost no matter what it is that happens. Because I think that when you go into 2018, those members in the Republican districts, I think the litmus test for them is going to be how well they've supported Donald Trump and gone along with his agenda.
Okay, then, Marie, let me ask you the same question. Is Senator Durbin's job harder now after this past weekend and the questions of whatever happened in that meeting and what was said about the countries? Is it harder for him now to get Democrats to go along with the compromise? Are they going to try to push him to get something more from the president?
Well, I certainly hope not. And I think that actually every time Donald Trump comes out and weighs in on these negotiations, he's making it more difficult, because these are so complicated, and the congressional leaders are trying to hammer something out. But when the president tweets something, there's not a lot of nuance there. I think it really mucks up a lot of the conversation. But look, just to the point that was just made about the midterms, the control of the House is not going to be determined by seats that are in districts that are Donald Trump's base. They're going to be determined by swing districts that Hillary Clinton won in states that Donald Trump won. So I think that there are a lot of Republicans. You know, DACA is universally popular. Yeah. Democrats believe they are politically on the right side of this issue, and that's why you have a lot of Republicans who want to get something done, but they're being held hostage by the Freedom Caucus.
Well, and it's only Monday. The government runs out of money on Friday. So a lot can happen between now and then. Leon Wolf and Marie Harf, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Dana.